getting measures to keep radical Islamic terrorists out of the United States of America. We don't want them here. We want to ensure that we are not admitting into our country the very threats our soldiers are fighting overseas. We only want to admit those into our country who will support our country and love deeply our people.
President Trump there. Well, Joanne Lynn is with the American Civil Liberties Union in Washington. She told me earlier that the executive order amounts to discrimination.
The American Civil Liberties Union strongly condemns the Trump executive order today. He has now delivered on his long-stated promise to block Muslim refugees and immigrants from the United States. And he's doing that by targeting two categories of Muslims. First, refugees who are in search of protection, and secondly, immigrants coming from 7 Muslim-majority nations. And those are the countries of Iran, Iraq, Sudan, Syria, Libya, Somalia, and Yemen. And this is astonishing that on International Holocaust Remembrance Day, which is today, that on this very day, President Trump is shutting down the U.S. refugee program for 4 months and is indefinitely ending the Syrian refugee program. This is a dark, shameful day in American history.
And what sort of action will you be taking against this? I think your organization has also called this unconstitutional.
Yes, so the American Civil Liberties Union is closely looking at this Trump exclusion order, and we believe that it raises several constitutional problems. In the U.S. Constitution, the First Amendment enshrines protections, and those are freedoms of religion and freedom of speech and expression. And if you look at the Trump exclusion order, among other things, it shows a clear preference for Christian refugees over Muslim refugees. And that is quintessential religious discrimination if the government shows a preference for one religion over another. That strikes at the heart of the American Constitution's First Amendment, and the ACLU will be closely looking at that. The second constitutional problem that the Trump order may raise concerns freedom of expression and speech. Among other things, the Trump exclusion order imposes a potential values or ideological test for people entering the United States. The order specifically says that people should be banned if they do not support the U.S. government, which in this case is the Trump administration, or if they do not support the U.S. Constitution. Now think about that. Think about if your viewers were boarding a flight at Heathrow and they were asked by a U.S. Customs Border Patrol official whether or not they support the U.S. government's policies. That is what today's order contemplates. And so the ACLU will be closely looking at how this order is implemented to see if an actual ideology or values test gets imposed.
It is a difficult one, isn't it, Joanne? Because while many people call it discrimination like yourself, many people in America believe Mr. Trump and think these orders and these new procedures are necessary to combat terrorism.
I think Americans strongly believe in the need to be safe, but Americans also strongly believe that people should be judged based on their conduct, not based on the color of their skin or the God that they worship. And what President Trump has done today is he's imposed categorical bans on certain Muslim-majority countries and on refugees. And by doing this, he's actually saying, we're going to block a significant chunk of the Muslim and Arab world from entering the United States. That is un-American. What I think is American is what the Statue of Liberty represents, a beacon of hope and freedom, a country that has long had a history of welcoming and protecting refugees and immigrants. And what the Trump exclusion order is designed to do is to foist blatant religious and ethnic discrimination under this veneer of enhanced national security.
Stay with us on BBC News. Still to come, the international response to help Chile tackle widespread wildfires that are raging out of control.